Welcome to The Heat Source, the podcast where we learn everything we can about hot sauce, one bottle at a time. We are your hosts, Mike and Matt, and today we're trying the OG sauce from Galactic Hobo. Let's heat up. Welcome back to The Heat Source. We are Mike and Matt, and we're getting a little, I was going to say international. That's not what we're doing. We're getting intergalactic.
Intergalactic, yeah.
Yeah. I had it all ready, and I'm like, getting a little international.
That's funny. Not yet. That's in a couple weeks. But right now, we're going to space.
Yeah. Yep. Today, we're going to space with some Galactic Hobo sauce, which I'm excited about. This one, actually, we just got in, I think last week. I just got it in, so haven't had it kind of sitting on the shelf too long, but yeah, pretty excited for that. Also, today is National Pretzel Day. I feel like I always have to have a national day.
Yeah.
We did celebrate a little bit today at work.
I celebrated a little too hard for work. I did not feel well after how many pretzels with, queso blanco with green chilies we ate.
Yeah, white queso blanco with green chilies. Not anything fancy. It was from Costco, which Costco is completely out of soft pretzels.
I feel like that's been kind of a recent thing where it's like the freezer section potatoes and freezer pretzels.
Yeah, it wasn't a national day thing. It was we haven't had it in weeks or months,
right,
which is insane to me. Today, and this I just found out only like an hour ago, today's also a very interesting celebrity birthday today that has to do with hot sauce that I just found out like an hour ago on Instagram.
Is his first name Sean?
Yeah. Sean Evans, his 36th birthday today.
How did I know that?
I don't know. I don't know because I found it out an hour ago and I'm just like writing it down like, a good little extra note.
Like I like that show, but I watch it probably 3 times a year. So I just know him by Sean. Yeah. Like if someone said Sean Evans, I'd know who you're talking about, but I'd always blank on his last name. But
yeah, Sean Evans, I mean, if you said Sean Evans, it could be anything though. That name is could be an athlete. It could be an actor. Chris Evans. Sean Evans.
Tom Smith.
Yeah, it's Chris Evans' brother. He played, Captain America's sidekick. But no, it's his birthday today, which is a cool thing because we've talked about a few different hot sauce companies that Hot Ones spurred on.
Yeah.
What they were doing. So that what they kind of inspired them to get into more hot sauce and whether it be trying new sauces or trying to make their own to get on there. So
yeah. So when Sean listens to this next Wednesday, happy birthday, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I'll text him and tell him, hey, make sure to check this one out a little bit earlier than he normally does. But
might throw him a tag.
Yeah, I'll throw him a tag. It's something where he has like 500,000 followers on Instagram.
He also seems like a cool enough guy to be like, oh, that was really personable. Like, I'll reach back out to him.
Yeah. Oh, no, and that's part of why his interview style is so unique and so like welcomed by celebrities and the people that listen. Yeah. Like, he just seems like an average guy that is well informed in his questions and is also suffering alongside them with their hot sauce.
Right.
I mentioned it to, I want to say it was either Hot Gram Sauce Co. or maybe it was Sam Sauce, but it was part of my research that I do. I listened to a podcast that Sean Evans was on about how in-depth they research their questions, and that's why they're so well informed, and they have a research team and all that. If I can do 10% of that in my research, I feel like I did a good job.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the inspiration for deep diving into some of these.
Yeah. I feel like the number one question or the number one answer to his questions on his show is, ooh, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like everyone always leads with that.
They get like actually either visually excited that you're talking about something that they don't get to talk about as much and they want to, or there is the dread of, you found that videotape from high school when I was in that musical.
No one would ever bring that up again.
Yeah. Yeah, just the dread of, well, you guys do your research. Oh, God, you do your research. Yeah. Like, oh, no.
Yep. I like the one with Paul Rudd. He's like, well, you have no social media, so it was pretty difficult to do anything with you.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with this, where it's like if they don't have a lot of social media presence and no one's written articles about them, I'm like, all right, roll up the sleeves, let's see what we can find. But luckily, that's part of how most of the sauce makers try to advertise themselves is social media. And not so much what they post, but also what they get tagged in.
Yeah.
So if they get tagged in a lot of stuff, restaurants, like I think Galactic Hobo, is going to be interviewed on another podcast and they teased about it. And so that was something that was interesting. There also, Sam Sauce was tagged for Taco Slayer's multiple tacos that he's tried. So, which I have another, not a fun fact, but fun news for you that I totally forgot about until yesterday, but then I waited till now to tell you. When I ordered Sam sauce, which we tried last week, and it got the highest score that we've ever given a sauce in our wealth of 6 episodes, I forgot that because I heard it was so good, I ordered 2 bottles of Piña de Nata.
Nice.
So,
I got home after the episode.
That's the bubble wrap if people are listening to the crackling.
Yeah. There was, I don't know, half a tablespoon left.
It was low.
And I made that work on like 6 taquitos when I got home. And it was good.
There's so many things that just every time I saw something, I was like, oh, that's going to be good with that sauce. Or it just has me excited to try. Whenever we try a sauce maker's, like, whether it be their best sauce or just a sauce we try, it gets you excited about what the other options are.
Yeah. And
that also segues us into something that I don't know if we mentioned it on the podcast yet. I've talked to some sauce makers about the idea because we get, for example, Sam Sauce has 5 or 6 sauces to try. And we do kind of a deep dive into the sauce maker on one long, hour-long episode. We're going to do some mini episodes where we try that sauce. We can reference back to what episode the sauce maker was talked about. But we're trying to keep it, ideally, to like 15 minutes.
I feel like that'll be hard. We got to be approaching...
We're at 17. Well, we're
probably
12.
At 10.
We're
10
like
or 12 right
10
now.
or 12 minutes right now.
So it'll be pretty dense.
It will be a concise, not a lot of intro small talk. It'll be we're breaking the seal, we're trying the sauce. We probably have like a topic to discuss while we try it. Mm-hmm. If it's something related to the sauce, great. If it's something, adjacent to. And then we might have to set a timer or a buzzer or something to say, here's like, now, if it's a good conversation, I'm not going to say, if you're going in depth about that's when I really realized that self-fulfillment moment of it, like, all right, I got to stop you right there.
Yeah.
You need to stop.
Yeah. I don't care what you have to say, the bell rang.
But it's part of the reason was to try more sauces so we have a backlog of sauces that we've ordered where I see, hey, this sauce looks good. Let me get 5 or 6 bottles from this company. Mm-hmm. I just ordered sauce from Faya company, and there's 4 bottles coming. So instead of having a 3-hour episode and trying all the sauces, which would be an interesting thing to try.
Hot sauce marathon?
Hot sauce marathon.
Hold on real quick. What is the world record podcast length episode?
I don't know. I can ask Joe Rogan.
Yeah, right.
It's Joe Rogan.
We should shoot for the world record podcast, but we're constantly trying hot sauce and see how long we can last.
So when I play like a sports franchise, I never really like a difficult setting. So by the 5th or 6th year, I have just like all the records, like every record. It's just my name. That's Joe Rogan for longest podcast. Yeah. Just like longest episode. Like, oh yeah, it's like Elon Musk. It's this. It's this. It's, one of his times that he had, I don't know, there's so many, I see the faces, but I don't know the names of all of his guests, but he just.
Mm-hmm. He does a good job though too, because at the 3.5 hour mark, he's like, all right, we're going to wrap it up. And I'm like, no, more.
Yeah.
Like that's really interesting. Why would you cut it off mid conversation?
Right. I mean, filling it 3 hours, I always think back to the ESPN show, Mike and Mike, the morning radio show, where somebody was talking to them about, why are you covering this topic again? Or why are you doing this? And they're criticizing the content. And he says, you try to make 3 hours of content that's related to sports every day, 5 days a week, all year round. Even in the middle of the summer when there's like nothing going on or whenever there's that lull of like, there's some all-star weekends and nothing's happening.
The all-star break is the only day of the year where there's 0 professional sports going on.
Right. So I think of that and it's like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to try to do like a 3-hour episode of just, we're going to marathon some sauces, or maybe we can bring people on and like have like little hop-in guests or whatever. Like I'm literally pitching an idea we never talked about before. But I don't see like doing that twice would be insane. Yeah. Also, we get a very small window of time for us to record every week. Right. That would be I'll see you tomorrow. Like, I'm going to go record.
Right. Hopefully at the end of June. I know you have kids and stuff, but.
Yeah, they're upstairs right now. They'll chime in eventually.
Yeah.
When they have their opinion on something up here.
They're a little faster than next week.
Yeah.
Or than last week.
Yeah, next week.
I'm already excited about next week. I don't know what's going on next week.
But yeah, so our goal is we're going to still record a couple episodes. We're probably going to alternate episode with a couple mini episodes. We'll see how many we have right before you leave for your honeymoon. Mm-hmm. And then that'll take place in there. Plus, another exciting thing that'll be happening on top of your wedding and your honeymoon. Would love to be there, but I won't. The other thing is the Boston Hot Sauce Fest, the first inaugural one in Somerville, Massachusetts, will be taking place May 14th and 15th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I got my tickets for it. I got all the travel arrangements. I will be there. You won't, right?
No.
You didn't figure out that layover?
No, I talked to the wife about Italy and if I could go to Boston for the weekend, and she's like, well, I think we should really go to Italy. So
I mean,
no, I didn't talk to her. I didn't even ask.
I feel like Boston is the Italy of Massachusetts. That's a title.
I'm not going to run that one by her.
I mean, New England clam chowder's so Italian. It's
no, as much as I do want to go to that, I got to get this honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
This thing's been on my mind for like 3 years.
Yeah, get through the whole. You're almost through the whole planning of the weddings, all that stuff. Enjoy the honeymoon, and then we can get back into.
It's not that I want it done; I just want it here.
Right. You want to hey, we've been anticipating and paying for and prepping all this stuff.
Yeah.
I want actually the payoff of actually seeing. I've never been to Italy, so that'll be interesting to see what your takeaway is from.
It'll be fun.
All that time.
We're big foodies too, so I'll definitely be taking some food notes and seeing what they have to offer from a spice standpoint.
Yeah, we'll have to have an episode where we kind of review notes of you review your Italy experience, I review the Hot Sauce Fest a little bit. And that's something too, is that there's going to be a lot of sauce from that Hot Sauce Fest that I'll be adding to the schedule for when you get back. So that'll be exciting. I know I'll post some videos when we're at the show, but I don't know how much edited up content that I'll do. I mean, I don't want to really do any interviews unless it's the duo of us, because that's the dynamic.
Yeah.
But I'll be taking a lot of notes and definitely hopefully have some inside stories or inside facts that I can share for future episodes.
I feel like it might be a lot of Instagram content, a lot of stories, a lot of photos.
Yeah, I'll have a couple stories and reels, and I'm trying to figure out a way to have a t-shirt that says our podcast on it, just so that way I don't have to awkwardly be like, I have a podcast, and people listen to it, at least some, and they like it, I guess.
Right.
Can you please talk to me about your sauce? But the only thing that I was thinking about is, so they're going to have all these samples. Mm-hmm. So do I try all the sauce? Because the whole thing is we experience the sauce and we try it. But if there's so much sauce that I'm trying, it might not be as...
You might forget about it.
I don't want to say forget about it, because if it's a good sauce, but there might be some that I'm like, hey, I like these sauces, so I'm going to hold off on that one until I bring it back.
Yeah.
So I might do a little...
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Just because I feel like, as different as sauces are, I feel like you can usually tell which maker it came from.
Yeah.
So you tell okay, that guy's got a base, something put together that's pretty good. Right. What's your flagship sauce?
It would just be fun if I show up and be like, yeah, I do a podcast about hot sauce. We try a bunch of the hot sauce. We learn about them all. Oh, that's great. Well, here's my array of hot sauce. What do you want to try first? None. I don't want any of those.
No.
Just, I'll buy the bottles. You tell me about them, but I will not taste anything.
Yeah. We'll let you know in a couple weeks.
It's weird. Weird deal, but okay. So yes, we have the mini episodes we're going to be doing soon. We have the Boston Hot Sauce Fest that I'll be going to. You'll have the updates from Italy, which I think we even have an Italian hot sauce that we'll try that I'm started doing research on. But you'll have to do. Yeah. You'll be the expert by the time you get back.
When I come back from learning how to be an Italian expert.
Yeah.
I'll let you know if that guy's got it figured out.
You come back with, I realize Chef Boyardee ravioli is not the best ravioli. That's weird.
It's going to forever change my perspective on Olive Garden. I already know that one.
Yeah. The Olive Garden, that was the first thing with Angela when we started dating is, she's Italian. Her family's, the large Italian family. And I mentioned Olive Garden and she was like, it's like mentioning a good rib place and you mention Applebee's. It's like it's a good burger place. Oh, McDonald's. It is a cheapened version of Italian food for them.
I remember being in elementary school and some girl was talking about how she went to Italy with her family at like 5th grade or something like that. She was like, I was so offended because she's like, yeah, Olive Garden is not Italian food. It doesn't even taste like Italian food. And I just remember being like, how dare she?
Yeah.
Like that is, I feel like I'm family there.
Well, that's the thing. When you hear your family, the
not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. Not sponsored by Olive Garden this week.
At least I got the motto right. It'd be great if it's like, yeah, Applebee's, when you're here, you're family. It's like, that's not what they do. Olive Garden, eating good in the neighborhood. It's like, what?
The Italian neighborhood.
The Italian neighborhood. Yeah. For me, Olive Garden, I just like their breadsticks. That's all I was really into.
Oh, yeah.
Like the salad was good. It was heavily dressed.
Oh,
but
I
it's
love
like, that. But it's, if you like Italian dressing, Italian dressing and like the pepperoncinis put on them.
Love it.
That's the dynamic. That's the flavor I remember.
Always got to toss the olives out. But other than that, love it.
That's debatable. But the other part is like, I didn't really care for any of the soups. Soup, salad, and breadstick. I was doing salad and breadsticks.
Zuppa Toscana.
Is it?
Oh,
is that the one?
That's the one to go with.
Soup was, also I think soup was already doing bread, and I like the breadsticks better than any soup. Mm-hmm. Soup is very filling. If I just stick to salad and breadsticks, I can eat more breadsticks.
So you're efficient, that's all.
Yeah, I'm efficient with my filling up on the three free items. I'm curious how much sound is going to be coming through of this stomping going on upstairs.
I think I just heard a suplex happen up there, so...
It could go either way.
With the little whimper mixed in.
Like, there's 3 people up there. There's Angela, there's my son, who's about to turn 4, and then there's my daughter, who just turned 2. And it could be any interaction of the 3 of who suplexed who.
That's so funny. Like, what if you go upstairs to tell the kids to settle down, and the kids are sitting on the couch, and it's Angela that's running around?
I mean, she's getting training for a 10K. So, whatever you got to do.
Side note, I had my bachelor party this past weekend after being married for a year and a half, and it was a combined bachelorette party at a camp.
Okay.
We rented out like a camp for all of our friends and stuff, and we played Capture the Flag in a very large area with some very competitive adults who are also not athletic.
Good combo.
So this is the most sore I've been since like high school football conditioning, which is over 10 years ago. I'm still sore.
So that was like, 3 days ago?
Yeah. The tendons in my ankles, legs, knees, feet feel like they're going to tear in half.
Even as a kid, the only time I played Capture the Flag was with Halo. That game, it's like, ooh, that was intense. It's like, you want to play real Capture the Flag? Ooh, why? Right. No. I could see it being fun. I definitely like the idea of like highly competitive, highly unathletic or out of shape people doing it, because that's what I kind of run into when I used to play kickball. We do a drinking co-ed kickball league, but it is fun to see like those people that like all out energy. They run around the bases for that triple, and then they're like, I need a beer, or I need to sit out. Exactly. I always said if I kicked a home run, I got to sit out the next inning. That was the agreement.
Yeah.
So
and it was fun. I wasn't super huge when I found out we were doing Capture the Flag. I just felt like it was a little kid's game, but I haven't played it in such a long time. I forgot half of how it works, but. In my mind, I felt like it was the most athletic, competitive thing ever. But like, if you were to look at it from the outside, you probably just would have laughed. Like, look at those dudes rolling through the woods.
We used to do that with punt pass kick competitions, and we would be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And then we would measure out, because we had a measuring tape for the field goals. We'd measure out a 40-yard dash, and be like, "All right, let's do it, and let's see how fast we are." And we realized that all of us were slower by multiple seconds than the largest, heaviest. NFL player that's ever done it.
8-second 40, and they're all running like high 4s.
Yeah, it's like the 380-pound defensive lineman. And it's just like, he did that in 4.5?
They move, yeah. Like my fastest in high school, I was a defensive back, so it's pretty fast.
Yeah.
My fastest in high school is like average lineman in the NFL.
I was a runner of the 400 meter and the 200 meter, but I did the 100 meter once, and they realized I'm just good enough to finish 8th. like to competitively finish in 8th.
You're high end second heat material.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's something where it's like, if they're like, hey, these 3 studs just need someone that will do the job, but not fall. It's like, did someone say, not expecting a lot, but just don't fall? I'm your guy. It's not as bad as we used to have a guy that did cross country that every race he would get lapped by everybody. Mm-hmm. Like, even the slow people, but he still did it. So kudos to him. Like, he still finished it.
Yeah.
He also stole my girlfriend in high school, so I don't want to talk about it. So
sounds like you got lapped.
I was like, kudos to him. I was like, I want to edit that out, but it's going to be so good, and I hate it. But yeah, kudos to him for trying, and a negative kudos to him for what he did. That went in a direction I was not expecting.
Yeah, let's talk about space and hot sauce.
So going in the opposite direction of down here on Earth, let's go up to space with the Galactic Hobo sauce, which this is an 8-ounce bottle that they give you, which
I like it.
it's good. I mean, the OG sauce, we're going to open it up here and start trying it. But just one thing about this, it originally was called Trip to Mars when he first started it. And then it became, because it was his first sauce, he started to make more. This became the OG. Easier to say. It's a,
Was it Trip to Mars because of the red color?
It might have been. There was no explanation on the Trip to Mars, but it's a very red sauce. And I think you looked at the ingredients already.
Yeah. It's a very classic looking hot sauce.
Red wine vinegar, Fresno chili peppers, plum tomatoes, like red onion, like that's all red.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Everything I've heard about this is that it goes on everything. So it does list it as a medium heat, and it does say to refrigerate after opening, which I always forget to check. And then I find out once I have it in the cabinet, oh, you should probably, which some of it is based on the ingredients you have to, and some of it is just to keep it lasting longer, which none of these have lasted more than a week or two.
No.
Some of them only last a day.
Actually, some lasted an episode.
Yeah, some last an episode. And this one, we already looked at the seal on this. I don't think there's like that perforated, so this is not going to be...
I don't think we can harp this one, but we can still give you a nice crisp crinkle, I think.
We'll see. Oh yeah, this is just going to... Just a punch.
Little seal.
Just a little punch there. But yeah, it's a nice... An 8-ounce bottle. The artwork on it is super cool.
Oh yeah. Even the Bandito's sitting here too. I like that. It's the space cowboy. There's a space helmet with a mustache and a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I bought... So the OG sauce I bought specifically to try in the episode. The taco sauce I bought kind of selfishly because I do the same taco sauce every time we make tacos. Like, it's always the same taco sauce, which is also on this table.
I was going to say, it's not Ortega, is it?
It is Ortega because I never knew any better.
Yeah.
You use it so much, it becomes a staple. I did try the taco sauce from Galactic Hobo, and then I did try a spoonful of the Ortega, and I wanted you to do the same because when I tried the Galactic Hobo, I was like, was it the Bandito?
Yep.
Yeah, when I tried the Bandito taco sauce, initially I'm like, oh, that's really good flavor. But in my head, I'm like, I wonder how much different it is than Ortega. And I knew it was going to be, but when you try it, it's like, wow, this is what in my head I thought Ortega tasted like, and it's nothing like it.
Okay.
It's so much better.
Which is funny because I, once again, losing more credibility than we don't already have. I love Ortega.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I'll use it on stuff. I mean, we also do the taco salad with the Western dressing, which isn't Western in any way. Yeah. It is sugary and all that, where I start to notice that it's something where it's fine still, but then I'm like, I need to put a little extra of something in it.
And there's a lot of nostalgia too with Ortega. Like when you're a kid, it's taco night. There's a big old liter of Ortega sitting there.
It is starting to look like it might just be Mexican ketchup, though.
Yes.
Because it's very heavily tomato.
100%.
So we're going to try, first off, we're going to try this OG sauce.
Another shout out to the Mammoth Sauce Co., the mother of pearl spoons.
Yes.
I picked it up this week, and I was taken back again by how heavy duty these things are. Like, that's me just whacking it on my knuckle here.
I know you are more confident in some of these things. Like you were like flicking one bottle to see how thick of a glass it is.
Ooh. I get almost like an alcohol smell.
Maybe.
Not in a bad way. Interesting.
Like if I smelled that and that was a pot of chili, I would be.
Yeah, I guess chili.
I'd be down. Yeah, that's my first thing I was getting.
With vinegar being red wine vinegar's the first ingredient.
Yeah.
I guess I do get vinegar out of that. It comes.
I feel like I get the red onion too.
I get a lot of tomato.
Yeah, the plum tomato.
I get a lot of tomato out of there. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's got good heat to it. Actually, there's like pieces of the tomato in there when I took the bite. And I'm chewing on a little piece of it now, which you'd think would not be as enjoyable as it is, but it's just that natural sauce flavor. So
I like it.
Them labeling it medium heat for like resale value totally makes sense because it is a good heat. I would be surprised if you go any higher than a 1 for your tolerance on it. But
no, I'm going 1.
But it is something where, for like an average consumer, that's probably at a cap for like my parents. Well,
Yeah.
my mom, absolutely. My dad, maybe he'll push it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm really getting a lot of the tomato. There's definitely, it's not chunky,
Mhm.
but there's little grains of goodies in there. And I'm getting a lot of tomato goodies out of that.
I can understand why a lot of people that have tried it talk about how they can put it on everything. It's a very versatile sauce where there's nothing in it that distinctly isolates it from a certain, dish.
Mm-hmm. So it's been a really long day. It wasn't a rough day at work. I just couldn't spell.
Yeah.
Like it was letter backspace, letter backspace, letter backspace, letter backspace.
Yeah.
The reason I got a little bit of alcohol, red wine vinegar. Number one ingredient.
Yeah.
Didn't put the two together until I just read it again.
So don't feel too bad. I also just put that together. Like I would have pointed out otherwise, but I'm like,
yeah. Okay, so I definitely taste the red wine vinegar. That's what I'm getting mostly when I smell it.
Which that's one of the big things I've noticed is some of these sauces recently, they don't just go, oh, well, you add vinegar. Like Tabasco, I think it's just distilled vinegar.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
Use like champagne vinegar, red wine vinegar, like the fancier.
Champagne, red wine.
Have you seen any balsamic vinegars yet?
There's one on our shelf that has balsamic in it.
Is there? Yeah. I'm a big balsamic guy, so I'm excited about that one.
I'm interested to see how that one goes. I'd be interested to see if anyone went like a Asian route with maybe like some rice wine vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting.
Okay. Do you get a lot of carrot out of that?
I didn't.
I don't either. I know it's towards the bottom of the ingredients list. It's a good sauce. I like that. I feel like that'd be good on spaghetti. I don't know if anyone's ever put hot sauce on spaghetti, but if I had a nice meaty spaghetti pasta.
So there isn't a lot of marketing for hot sauce in Italian dishes because usually it's you put either fresh peppers or you put red pepper flake or you have some type of like infused oil.
Yeah.
Calabrian chilies, I guess,
Yeah.
have been used in Italian cooking.
So because I'm a Italian expert, because I've been to Olive Garden a couple times,
Yeah.
and maybe it's because we already talked about it, tastes kind of Italian to me. If you told me like, hey, here's an Italian hot sauce, I'd be like, I buy it.
I mean, red wine and Italian cuisine isn't like two separate items. There's a mutual respect there.
Do they go hand in hand?
Well, speaking of the birthday boy, Sean Evans did a YouTube video where he went to, I forget what pizza place. It's a pizza place in New York. And he went to their kitchen, their home kitchen, and the guy literally was having his mom instruct him, like, what do I put in here? And she's like, put in a good thing of red wine into the sauce for the marinara sauce. Mm-hmm. And she's like, don't use, like, cooking wine. She's like, use a sauce you're going to drink. Open it, pour yourself a glass, pour it out into the pan.
Right.
So I know in sauces, they use the red wine. White wine, I know in certain, like, pasta dishes, you'll do, like, a white wine, butter.
Like usually something with clams in it. It's usually white wine.
Yeah, I could see it with shrimp. But so talking about a little bit about this sauce maker. So they actually went officially into business as Galactic Hobo sauce back in November of 2020. Mm-hmm. So not a very old sauce company. Again, 2020.
Oh, 1919, 2020.
1984.
We're predicting right now on this podcast next pandemic or next big event is going to be 2121.
That makes sense. For some reason, I went immediately to 3030. Like, we'll just skip ahead. It's something where the founder is Aaron, and I did not get an actual phonetic pronunciation, but Aaron Dallaire, I believe it is. So he moved out to Portland, Maine back in 2020 because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And when he was out there, that's when he developed the Galactic Hobo sauce. Before he was doing sauce, though, he wanted to be a video game designer.
Okay.
Which I think I had a moment in there that I want to be a video game designer. I did go into like, not graphic design, but like computer programming to start that and then switched. But his thing was he wasn't big into, being in school for like the long process to get into that. So he didn't want to do the schooling for it. So he became a dishwasher at a restaurant. Mm-hmm. He enjoyed being in the kitchen. He enjoyed... he enjoyed, being in that element, but then also he decided he did want to get into that video game designing. And so he balanced being a dishwasher and trying to go back into school, but he hit kind of a crossroads where he was moving his way up in the restaurant. And it was like, all right, I either go full into this video game designing, or I have to stop that and go into this, culinary world.
Mm-hmm.
He chose the culinary world because he went from dishwasher to sous chef at his first restaurant in about 3 to 4 years. So he moved his way up, did the work, and got in there. He didn't say what place, but he did say it was an elevated burger place, which could be, that's a lot of places. But he also, when he was up there, he also worked a food truck in Maine that he said was one of his favorite jobs. So that was where he kind of moved into the cooking world. But when in 2020, he made this Galactic Hobo. The OG sauce was the first one, called Trip to Mars. He has 2 other sauces. We already talked about the Bandito Gringo taco sauce. And then he also has a Hobo Kai sauce, which is it's a teriyaki sauce.
Ooh.
So like Hobo Kai.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's those 3 sauces currently available. But before he went official with the Galactic Hobo sauce, he had been making sauce for about 5 years, but became licensed and became a licensed business in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
I do have. He now has moved since then. He's moved to Western Massachusetts, and that was at the end of 2021. But I do have some Portland, Maine facts that I want to share.
Okay. I was just there the week before I met you. I was in Portland, Maine. It's a cool place.
So, do you know, because there's Portland, Maine, but when someone says, hey, I'm going to Portland, what's the first place you think of?
Oregon.
Portland, Oregon.
That was where my first honeymoon with the same person was. I've been coast to coast, Portland to Portland.
I can't wait to see where your next honeymoon with Courtney will be. It's like stop calling them honeymoons. They're vacations now.
Yeah.
That's all they are.
Yep.
You get 2, and then you got to start calling them vacations. So Portland, Maine is responsible for the name of Portland, Oregon, because the 2 people who discovered Portland, Oregon were Asa Lovejoy from Boston and Francis Pettygrove from Portland, Maine. They both wanted to name it after their hometowns. So you want to know how they decided?
Whoever could eat the most lobsters.
That would be an interesting one. But in Portland, Oregon?
Oh, in Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Maine. I'm sorry.
That's where they were from.
Okay.
They named Portland, Oregon. They flipped a coin. Best 2 out of 3. And Pettygrove won.
That's how it got its name. Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Almost was Boston, Oregon.
Boston, Oregon.
And that was, yeah.
That wouldn't have been any fun.
No. Portland, Oregon it sounds so good that people think that's the original.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, Portland, Maine, what are they trying to do? It's like, that we migrated west. But don't want to spoil it for them. The other thing that's known in Portland, Maine, there's an International Cryptozoology Museum for exploring Bigfoot, mermaids, Loch Ness Monster, and more.
In Portland, Maine?
Mm-hmm.
And I missed it?
Yeah, I don't know how you didn't see it. Yeah,
that's a bummer. I'm trying to think.
Feel sad now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back. Like we didn't spend a whole lot of time there, but
is
it?
When I searched it, it was still.
You said it was a museum.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know what the definition of museum. I don't know how big or small because when I drive up in Rockford, I drive by a place that says, "Oh, go to this museum," and it's literally a house.
Yeah, the historic museum.
Yeah,
everyone locally. I don't know anyone. I'm from the area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anyone that's ever gone in there.
Yeah,
passed it my whole life. Been like, oh, look, a museum.
It's one of those. They could have the sign up and just be like, "We'll see what happens." No one comes in.
There could be some awesome stuff in there. Just people have been passing it their whole lives. So I'm not a believer in that stuff, but it's fun to think about. Like
the Bigfoot and the Loch Ness and all that. Yeah, I mean the Loch Ness definitely has its best. So Bigfoot it's hard for me to believe Bigfoot's out there only because we're so present in so much of the land.
Exactly.
Especially where they say it is. Like if it was like only in like the wilderness of Canada, but like we're terrible at preserving land. So, but the Loch Ness Monster, it's like, we don't know such a large portion of what's in the water that would make a little bit more sense. So of course also mermaids are real too, because my daughter says so. So
that's funny. But if you think about it, like my argument for Bigfoot, other than it's a 9-foot tall, fuzzy dude running around in the woods, it's like when animals are endangered, you always hear about it on the news, like, oh, the last, or one of the few remaining whatevers just got hit by a car this weekend. Like even if there's very few of them, they turn up dead somewhere. Like you mean to tell me we've gone all this whole time and no one's
never discovered
Yeah.
the
No one's
remnants.
found a body or anything like that. There is a comedian that has he has a bit. I don't remember who it was, but credit to whoever it was. He's like, they're talking about like blurry Bigfoot photos.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, they're not blurry photos. Bigfoot just is blurry.
That's an interesting take, though.
He could be onto something.
I always think, when I think of Bigfoot, I always think of the movie Harry the Hendersons.
Freaked me out when I was a kid. I loved the thought of Bigfoot when I was a kid, but when I actually watched it and saw it in action, I didn't like it. It's
funny to me that the end scene when he's telling him to get out of there is like, we don't want you here. Like John Lithgow's just telling Bigfoot to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he slaps him and says, we don't want you here. And I'm like, oh, like as a kid, I was like, what a devastating moment. And someone was like, oh, it's like Old Yeller. Or not Old Yeller. White Fang? Yeah, it's like White Fang. And I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, books? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harry and the Hendersons. That was a scary one, but that was also where it made me question, like, would they be able to blend in? Because when he leaves and walks into the woods and just you see all these big feet?
Bigfoots? I don't know.
You see all of them kind of just show up and turn and go into the woods where you're like,
yeah,
they were in this image the whole time. So now I'm like, maybe I wouldn't see them.
Yeah. It probably freaked me out when I was a kid too, because like I spent a very outdoorsy family. I spent a lot of time in the woods. So it's probably just one of those things like, man, I don't want to run into Harry. You know, when I'm walking to my tree stand, it's pitch black out.
I mean, the Harry and the Henderson, the Harry from the movie's like, well, yeah, if he's going to be nice to me, the middle part, yeah. Mm-hmm. I would hang out with him all the time.
Right.
Just riding his shoulders.
Yeah. And that movie always reminded me of a Goofy movie.
Oh, yeah. They had the Bigfoot in there, too.
Yeah. Love that movie.
Yeah. That one, I still know most of the songs to that. That was, I was amazed that there was not more music from whatever the guy was that sang as Powerline. Because I'm like, how is this guy...
How's he not a thing?
Yeah, how is he not the next Michael Jackson?
He's a one-hit wonder in a Disney movie.
I think I did look up at one point who sang it, and he does a lot of work, but he nothing hit. I'd have to look up again. I'll put a screenshot. I'll just put like a glamour shot of him, and that will be the photo without context for this. Yeah, for this week. It's funny. Like who's that guy? It's like I always get him confused with the other guy from. That used to do all the Disney movies in the 90s, they would always have, here's the song, and then here's really high-end musicians singing, like Peebo Bryson was in a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know who Peebo Bryson is other than he sang a bunch of Disney songs. He's got a good voice, but it wasn't him. But I always think, like, was it Peebo Bryson in Goofy movie? No.
I think there's a Nicki Minaj song. What's his name? Peebo Bryson?
Peebo Bryson.
I think he is a lyric of a Nicki Minaj song. We might have to put Nicki Minaj in the photos without context now too.
I'll have to confirm that, which means I have to figure out.
I'll look that one up. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite songs by her.
I don't know a whole lot of Nicki Minaj, but I do want to give props though. Right now, one of our musical references this week was Current. Nicki Minaj. Right. We didn't go back to some of the other ones that we did, so that's pretty good. The only other fun fact I had for Portland, Maine, which is funny because I had all these fun facts, and then I realized that he moved to Western Massachusetts last year, and I was like, well, you still started the company in Portland, Maine, so we'll enjoy it. But it's also the home to the first chewing gum factory constructed by John Curtis. So they used to make chewing gum they would make it in a factory that did other things. It was the first solo chewing gum factory. They made a spruce tree gum.
That'd be good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Apparently that's what gum used to be, was just like...
Yeah, the gum I had at my desk at work. That was...
Was it?
It was like an all-natural pine sap gum. It looked like gerbil food.
That's probably what this was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I'd be all about that.
I thought it was okay. It still is a weird... I'm used to the very, nothing natural. But yeah, one of the things that when Aaron was working in the restaurant, and this is part of what formed him to make his own hot sauce, I believe, he was learning... quickly that cooking for someone else restricted creativity. So you work for a restaurant, you have to cook their dishes. You can potentially have some freedom if you're in charge of, the special or whatever, but you want to be fully creative with what you cook.
Yep.
That can restrict that. So his first sauce, he specifically wanted it to be versatile, that it can go on everything, which this absolutely is that sauce. Like I said, I have a hard time thinking of something that this won't go good on. that welcomes hot sauce.
Right. You can only probably relate to this. No one else probably can unless they're from Michigan. But you ever get a wet burrito? If you were to go to like sometimes you get wet burritos at Italian places and they have like a very tomatoey sauce. Like this would go good on like an Italian wet burrito.
You really are hung up on that Italian.
I am. I don't know why.
Which is fine because it's. I mean,
It's the tomato and the red wine for me.
I would take a meatball and dip it in that.
Yeah, good on meatballs.
Do a meatball sub, and then instead of like a marinara, or put a little marinara, but then put a layer of this hot sauce.
Right.
Ooh.
To me, this list is like yells, "Put me on pasta."
So, just yells it.
Yep.
So the important question though is, would you put it on fish tacos?
Is it an Italian fish taco?
Sure. I don't know what that would.
No, I could
put
it
means.
on. Yeah. I could put it on.
It's become a staple question. It's become a staple question. We have to find out. But no, it's a very versatile Italian sauce. So, one of the things with the brand Galactic Hobo, which I didn't go, I felt like sometimes I feel like I'm going to research something and then I go away from what the obvious thing would be. Mm-hmm. I did a little with the name, but I did find it interesting where he talked about on his website, he talks about the brand that he wanted it to be something that celebrates the urge inside us to dare to be different.
Yep.
He wanted to talk about self-confidence, to not care what others think, and the ambition to execute whatever we set our minds to. So it's, space travel, it's, beyond your limits, things like that. So I thought that was really cool.
Are you going to go more into the name of how it got Galactic Hobo or no?
No, I mean, that's really the information that he has behind the name. So,
because I did a little bit of research on hobos.
Good, because I didn't at all. I thought about doing it, and I did not at all.
So, according to Wikipedia for Kids, a hobo is a word for a homeless person who travels to different cities or towns looking for work. Hobos usually travel by train hopping, or sometimes riding the rods, essentially riding under the cart.
What's the name of the stick with the bag on it?
Hobo stick?
No, it's got a real name, I think.
I don't know. I didn't research hobo sticks. I'm sorry.
Sounds like if there was an appetizer at a restaurant that says, "Yeah, we got fried mushrooms, we got this, we got hobo sticks," but like, wait,
yeah,
what are those?
But like, I mean, to me, maybe I'm totally off in what he was going for, but to me, it's like space traveler.
A bindle. A bindle is a bag, sack, or carrying device stereotypically used by the American subculture of hobos.
Really?
So yeah, like the stick, and you got
it looks the classic cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bindle.
I did not know that was a thing. Well, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know it had an actual word to it.
I heard someone mention it before, and I thought it would stick because I'm like, oh, I actually know what that name is now. But now it's something I just know that there's a name for it. A bindle. I'm gonna walk up to the Boston Hot Sauce Fest with just a bindle of hot sauce.
I'm definitely going to try to use that word more.
Yeah. One thing I found funny for April Fools on Instagram, because a couple different sauce makers would post some jokey things. I think Mammoth Sauce did a lettuce hot sauce joke. It's like, finally we got it. It's a lettuce hot sauce, bright green, pretty funny. But he did a Galactic chili wine. He's like, yep, spicy wine. And I'm like, probably wouldn't do that bad.
No. I'd try it.
I think that's what most of the comments were too, where they're like, ooh, that sounds good. It's like, that was a joke. It is April 1st.
Another fun fact. I love this fact. I've heard it multiple places. Mm-hmm. So, because we're talking about space, you can't think about space with physics. You can't think about physics without Albert Einstein, obviously.
Which we've referenced on other episodes about his, what was it?
He didn't like beats.
He hated beats.
That's what it was.
So
he's going to redeem himself today.
Okay, what did the beats hater?
So there's a quote, and I can't remember the exact quote.
Okay.
But he essentially said before he died, like, I was wrong about gravitational waves.
And beats.
So he was wrong about two things.
Okay.
But like, don't totally quote me on this, but loosely he was wrong about gravitational waves. Turns out, a few years ago, 2015, gravitational waves were proven. No, he said his biggest blunder is thinking that gravitational waves were real, something of the sort. Mm-hmm. Turns out that they were proven. So his biggest blunder was saying that he's wrong about that, but his biggest blunder was thinking that he was wrong when he was right the whole time.
Huh.
So he was right.
That's kind of like
his biggest mess up is thinking that he was wrong.
It's Einstein's version of a humble brag. Where it's just like, no, guys, this one's on me. My bad. And it's like, no, you're right. All right, if you say so.
Exactly.
I'll take the adoration, I guess.
Right, and I totally butchered that. So go look that one up. But that's the gist of it, is like his biggest mistake was thinking that he made a mistake.
Well, there's another fun fact that if you're worried about misquoting specifically Albert Einstein and the estate, you're worried about them coming after you, you surround yourself with beets and you say a prayer and they'll stay away from you forever. That's
great.
My fun fact. So one other thing I wanted to touch on with the sauce maker as we're compiling our scores, which I know I've compiled mine. I think you were adding up yours.
I'm good.
But one of the other things that Aaron has posted about on his Instagram, so he was in high school, senior year of high school, he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Oh, dang.
So he actually, this last March, all of the sales in March, a percentage of that went to I think it was the National MS Association, and you could also tip and add to that.
Yeah.
And I think we'll put a link to that National MS Association in the episode description, so people want to donate. I was going to do it'd be cool if we did if we, for every download we do this, and I'm like, I don't have a lot of money. Like, we are in a basement while my kids are going crazy. Right. Like, you were about to go on a wedding honeymoon excursion where it's like...
Exactly. It's the thought that counts. I'd love to do it.
I'll definitely donate to it, and I'll put a link into it, but it's something where if we got bigger, then I'd be like, hey, let's do a charity drive or something like that. But
yeah,
I talked to him about it a little bit on Instagram a few months ago now, because my family does a volunteering for a camp up in the UP that deals with different kids with different disabilities, and they can go to this camp. And while MS is not one that's as obvious externally to people, it is something that there's no known cure for it. It's something you deal with your entire life.
Right.
So
I feel bad. Like, I know what MS is.
I had to look it up.
I don't know what MS is, if that makes sense.
Part of it was,
and I know
there's
a lot of people
so many symptoms. Yeah. Like the list of symptoms is like, this could be your experience with MS. This could be yours, but there's a lot. There's a laundry list of what you could deal with. The basic description I saw was that it disrupts communication from like the brain and spinal cord. That's one of the things that I saw. It interferes with that, but it's something where they say it's a chronic condition, often diagnosed between 20 and 50. Women are 2 to 3 times more likely to develop MS. So another reason women just have it harder than men. Yeah. So can be. I did look up what famous people have MS, and the list. The list isn't like very broad, which is surprising. It's like you'd think that, with any issue, like there's so many now famous people. You're on YouTube and you're famous. Happy birthday, Sean Evans. One of the first one that popped up was Jack Osbourne, the son of Ozzy Osbourne. Really? He has MS. Jamie Lynn Sigler, who was on The Sopranos. Okay. So she has MS. Richard Pryor also.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that. I didn't know it. I knew that his health kind of declined later on. I think that they say that was one of the factors. The weird thing was I looked at the list of celebrities, and there were very clear actor, singer, going through the list of what you would constitute as famous. The weirdest one on the list, they included President Bartlett, the character of Martin Sheen in West Wing. Not Martin Sheen, but his character in West Wing had MS. And I'm like, I feel like you could do a long list of characters that had like an illness or MS where it's like, why is that on this list?
That's weird. It was
it was the first list that came up. If you Google search celebrities with MS, it's the first one that came up. It gave me like 12, and that was one of them. And I'm like, weird.
That is weird.
Weird inclusion.
Yeah. But that's cool to see, like, he's, dealing with that in the background, but then still doing what he wants to do,
Yeah, and he's posted a few times about it. Just, it's something that it's something he has to deal with day to day. But it was cool to me that he had that kind of charity drive, donation drive for, and next March, if he does it, we can advertise for it. Maybe we'll get more sauce and be able to. I mean, I definitely would get this sauce for quite a few people. That it's a universal sauce that can go on a lot of things. He did post on one of his Instagram posts. He posted a buffalo chicken dip. There was a buffalo chicken dip with Galactic Hobo sauce with beer braised Hobo chicken thighs. Whoa! Which he said was for his hashtag Steelers, which is good. Angela's a Steelers fan too, so I can relate to this. The Steelers fan. But yeah, I didn't even just write it down. I just dropped the recipe in my notes.
That's funny.
So I can make it in the future.
Yeah.
But
That's cool. That's something I'm surprised we haven't seen more is like a recipe where it's like, use it in this. I know we had
Hot Graham
Stanky sauce.
Hot Graham Sauce Co. He does post a few recipes on his Instagram,
does?
but Stanky Sauce has the Stankwich.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing he talks about.
That was the only other one, but no, we'll have to try this one.
Yeah, it was, I mean, a lot of it seems pretty straightforward buffalo chicken dip, and then there's a couple veers to including the sauce, including some beer. Chicken thighs is always the best way to go. It's just so much more flavor. It doesn't dry out as much.
Yeah.
It's just, as much as chicken breast is a healthier option, I get chicken thighs.
Yeah. I tried to make tamales with, the recipe said absolutely bone in chicken, whatever.
Yeah.
Preferably chicken thighs. I said nonsense and I used chicken breast and I boiled it as the driest thing on planet Earth. I did it another time
Doesn't sound great.
No, I mean, it still worked out because
Yeah.
you're essentially emulsifying it in the tamales if you make them like super authentic.
Mhm.
Did it with chicken thighs, worked out great. So if you're looking for a tender chicken, go bone in.
Okay. Yeah, chicken thighs is the way to go. I did a chicken thigh where I just coated them, baked them in the oven, and that's crispy skin.
Mm-hmm.
We were just doing a shredded chicken thing, but I baked it with the skin on, took the skin off, set it in a bowl. I was just eating.
I'm a chicken skin guy.
Eating chicken skins where I'm eating a thing of the most delicious potato chips I've ever had. Just crunchy.
Get a hot rotisserie chicken, take the skin off like a blanket, eat that, and then shred the chicken.
I love it when my kids are like, yeah, I want a piece of chicken. Like, oh, not the skin. I'm like, all right, I'll take that. Thank you.
Exactly.
Like, oh, I'll take that flavor blanket.
Exactly.
So
Thanksgiving, just no meat for me. Just give me the skin.
Yeah. I did look up a couple fun facts about the original name Trip to Mars.
Okay.
So do you know how long it takes to travel to Mars?
This
This is mostly on like the SpaceX deal from the looks of it.
okay.
I'm
going to go 9 months.
7 months. So
close.
it's actually shorter than you expect.
Okay.
300 million miles or 480 million kilometers for the non-US listeners.
Two of you.
And then it costs, the SpaceX program says it's going to cost anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000 a ticket to go to Mars. To go to like imminent death.
Hold
like
on, what was the low end?
100,000.
That's not
that bad.
That's like a Super Bowl suite ticket.
I mean, I'm not going to the Super Bowl either, but
No, but
it's not. It's
I don't want to belittle $100,000, but
it is less expensive. Like if someone were to say, "What do you think a ticket for a trip to Mars would cost?" Now it doesn't say if that's a one-way or a round trip. Hopefully, it's a round trip option.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
would definitely-
$100,000 to get there, $2 million to get back.
Yeah, I would have definitely thrown out something that ended in illion
Yeah.
if you had asked me.
If you said $1 million, I'd say
Sounds about right.
yeah. And then on Mars, 1 year on Mars is 687 days,
Okay.
and 1 day is 24 hours and 37 minutes. So not too bad for
No.
like the daily.
No, not at all.
But
I mean, I don't know what the temperature is. I feel like facing the sun without an atmosphere is going to be toasty 300 degrees, and the cold side is going to be negative
Yeah.
300.
they went into the temperatures on that. I went with just a couple of them because I wasn't going super crazy with. I already derailed on Portland, Maine. I was like, oh, let me.
So to play off from that, if you were to look
Okay.
at Mars, how would you look at it?
How would I look at it?
Yeah, if someone's like, hey, go show me a close up of Mars, what tool are you going to use to look at it?
A telescope.
Exactly. So,
I happen to have a mini one.
yep,
In
the
my
Hubble
daughter's room.
telescope was like the flagship telescope for the longest time.
hmm
They are, I believe they just launched it and it is en route to its resting place right now, but the James Webb telescope,
Okay.
instead of using like lenses, you think of a classic telescope of, focusing light through a glass focal point. What they do is they take this big series of mirrors, and here's a photo of it. It's like a big series of mirrors that are gold plated and they're so reflective. They focus all the light in I think it's a 23 or 21 meter wide series of mirrors. They focus all the light down to this tiny little focal point.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gathering a ton of light, making it in a really small space so they can get really high def photos. But we were just talking about temperature. So when the James Webb telescope is in space, one side of the James Webb telescope will always face the sun and constantly sit at 185 degrees Fahrenheit. The other side, containing the mirrors and instruments, will consistently sit at negative 388 degrees. So without an atmosphere, that's how brutal is it. It's one side is going to fry you. The other side, you freeze instantly, which is pretty amazing.
Well, I'm glad that Elon is planning trips up there then. That sounds like a fun staycation.
Yeah. And so those are all mirrors, but they're gold plated. The primary mirrors are plated in 24 karat gold, which is pure gold. A golf ball size amount of gold was used to coat the entire, it's 21 foot wide mirror.
Okay. When you showed me that photo, my initial thought was yellow bird hot sauce.
Yeah.
Like the face of the yellow bird. Yeah. You'll have to send me that specific photo because I'll post that one. Because I saw that, I'm just like, oh, yellow bird. Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, gold has really neat properties. I'm going to get real nerdy here. Like the Notre Dame dome, I don't know what it's actually called. Yeah. But like the gold dome.
Yeah.
You can look super rich with gold, like gold foil. It's surprisingly cheap. Because you can hammer it to 1 atom thick and it will maintain its structural integrity. I mean, it'll be very thin,
right? But
you can get it 1 atom thick. So you can hammer out an absolute sheet of gold. It's hardly any gold. That's why you could drink gold slick vodka.
Because it's so thin that it's not.
Yes. It's essentially an atom thick, looks like nothing. But yeah, like the
didn't
dome
realize
at
it was
Notre
that
Dame.
thin.
Yeah, you can get it down to 1 atom thick.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's
if you see something gold plated, it's like there's a good chance that you didn't pay a whole lot for it. I mean, gold's still expensive. Now, if something's solid gold, probably steer clear
solid
of that guy.
Gold. Yeah, solid gold. Yeah, but like if someone says, "Oh, it's gold plated," it's like depending on what degree. This will depend on how impressed I am with it.
Yep.
Well, I think. Do you have more fun facts on there?
I mean, I'm a huge. If I want to get lost on a rabbit hole, I'm going to space.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the naming of this hot sauce.
I don't know if we have any other Galactic, there's another Galactic sauce we can try from them. I don't know if any of the other themes that I have kind of up the pike is space.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I mentioned before, like usually they focus on like hell.
Yeah.
or like,
right.
volcanoes
something.
So it's very few go interstellar.
Right. Also, this is an opportunity. Might even get cut from this. We don't know. My favorite photo of all time is the Hubble deep space photo.
I want to cut it right here, and then
and then cut.
Like, this might get cut. It's just like, oh, what they went. He's talking about sandwiches now.
Exactly. Are you familiar with the Hubble deep space photo?
Yes.
Okay.
Somewhat. Not as much as you, I'm sure.
Coolest stinking photo out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it is an area. They pick the darkest. Whoever's controlling the telescope. Pick the darkest spot they could find in the sky with absolutely nothing in it. So to put it in perspective, if you took a drinking straw and held it at arm's length and pointed it and looked down the straw, that's the area that they were looking at when they pointed the telescope. So it's like the surface area of a straw, the diameter of a straw looking down. That's what the Hubble Deep Space Telescope was looking at. And in the photo is tens of thousands of galaxies in the darkest, most absent spot in the night sky. Like, that trips me out. Now look at a clustered spot, or even just go out at night with a pair of binoculars, look at the sky in a dark spot. And with binoculars, you're going to realize, like, there's a lot going on there.
Right.
So whenever I look at that photo, I'm like, that is the most blank spot in the sky, and there's tens of thousands of galaxies in one photo. That makes me feel not good about myself.
I mean, it just makes you feel like there's a lot more going on than just it should definitely humble you.
Yeah. And I've heard this fact twice, and it's if there's so many stars or there's so many galaxies out there, it's statistically more likely that there's another one of you doing the exact same thing that there's not.
I don't like that fact.
Yeah.
That one definitely, like the other one, it's like it's humbling. That one is just like.
Right. So statistically, there's us doing a better podcast than this somewhere out in space.
Maybe they just started earlier.
Yeah. If you guys run into it, let us know about it.
Yeah. Other podcasts. If you figured out intergalactic communications and you found this podcast, let us know what we're doing right in the better version of this.
Yeah. Yep. No, hold on. One more quick space tangent.
Okay.
What's one of my favorite things? I'm an adult apologetic blank lover.
Dinosaur
lover. If I could wave a magic wand, it's like you can space travel to see dinosaurs. You find a wormhole, the classic Interstellar, fold a piece of paper, poke a hole through it. You went through all that space, but you went through a wormhole.
Did you like that movie?
I thought it was a great movie.
I did too.
Love it.
I love the Christopher Nolan movies. I just was curious because that's hit or miss for some people.
Yeah, I loved it.
Long movie though.
Very long one.
Yeah.
But you can, in theory, if you wormhole, got to a point in space, and saw a star that was, let's say, 65 million years ago, or 65 million light years away, you're technically looking at dinosaurs. Because that light, like what you see is light. And if you're looking at a star 65 million light years away, that's 65 million years ago, you're looking at dinosaurs. So there is a way in theory to see dinosaurs on another planet if you knew they existed. You just have to wormhole to another part of space where you were sure that there was dinosaurs.
I feel like we went into like a Neil deGrasse Tyson
The things I think about.
Yeah.
I think about it a lot.
I feel like someone's going to like leave to get a drink of water, come back, and then they'll be like, did my podcast switch? Like, what
is this Star Talk?
It's like, what
happened to Neil?
Yeah. No, those are really cool though. Like
it's trippy.
Yeah. And that's part of why I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is so popular, other than being so knowledgeable. He presents it in a way where it's like, oh wow, I didn't really think of that. Or like you think of it a different way, or it's more relatable to someone.
Yeah.
Or just massively impressive.
Yeah. Astrophysics for people in a hurry. If you want just like a quick overview, I want my mind blown for 3 hours, read that book.
I just thought that you were going to recommend a podcast that does really fast astrophysics stuff. And I just thought of the title, Fastrophysics. Let's start it.
Spinoff.
Yeah. Well, I'll brainstorm it while you're on vacation. All right. So we have our scores for this sauce. And just to remind everybody, we're on a 100-point scale. Everything above 50 points, we recommend that you buy. If it's above 75, it is something that we would want stocked in our kitchen on the regular. If it's between 25 and 50, still, it's still something that you should try. It's just not one that we're going to say like you have to go out and buy. That's where a lot of the grocery store commercial sauces end up falling. And under 25, it wasn't for us, but maybe it's for you. Stay positive. And then we scale it on a heat level 0 to 5. We will said 1. 1 is where like there's a present heat. It has a good linger.
Yes, sir. Good for a new guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's something where if you're getting into hot sauce, like this is a flavorful sauce that will give you heat, but it's not going to like blow you away. It's also not going to blow up a dish that you put it on. So my score for this one, I ended up giving it a 79 out of 100.
Okay.
So I like this. This would be probably my everyday sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I still have like a Louisiana or a Crystals in my shelf.
Yeah.
This would be one where that's the one that's like a generic sauce to put on, and not in a bad way, but just a catch-all.
Yep.
But that would be one that I would probably replace with that for a catch-all.
Yep.
So
I went, don't be mad at me, I went 67.
That's fine. That's still
it's still a good
to
sauce.
buy.
Yeah, I'd buy it. I'd definitely get it again, and I will get it again. And I'm super excited to try his other sauces.
Yeah.
My justification for that is maybe it's like a bias, but the thing that caught me off guard was the very wine taste. That makes me think Italian. It's not that it's bad.
No.
This just wasn't what I was expecting.
It was
still really good.
Definitely surprising. Yeah. And it's something where, and that's where the sauces, like the scoring themselves, it's like very much on a preference where you hit that red wine vinegar immediately and that was kind of your focus on it.
Mm-hmm.
If someone was trying it with certain food, that might not be the focus. That might be a different, that might even take a back seat to something else they're trying.
Like that'd be real good on pizza.
That's kind of the
really
staple.
Good pizza sauce.
Like one of the staples, unless it's a sauce trying to do something different, trying specifically for a genre of food. If it's a sauce that they say can go on everything, it should be going on pizza. And that would be a fantastic pizza sauce.
Yeah. And I'm just sitting here eating it.
Yeah.
Like, I like it.
We're definitely trying it. And that's why we always like to go over the scale, because everything above 50, we're saying we recommend to buy. You should go out and get this sauce. It's really good. I'll have it in my kitchen, so when you need a bottle, you can just let me know. And that's usually where our scales
take
are.
You up on that.
Yeah. But
hold on. The more I think about it, ribs. I think that'd be good. I think that'd be a good sauce on ribs.
Yeah, I would have some
like
some
a sweet rib.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm gonna do with that.
Next time, the food truck with the ribs, get some of those, pour those on there.
Yep.
Man, they were out today. I could have gotten some. I know that we have kind of hitting our time on it, but do we want to just do a quick try of the taco sauce, or do you want to save that one?
I'll give it a shot.
I did open it. I used it. If you want, all right. So here's what I want you to do, because I did it the reverse way. I want you to try the Ortega. This is just mild Ortega. It's just generic for the kids. So I'm going to have you try the Ortega first, For a basis of the, I'm going to do it too because
I feel like I'm just going to say it's sugary tomato sauce and someone accidentally cut a pepper in the other room.
oh, there's no heat. This is like mild is no heat at all. Like it's just tomato sauce. But this at least, I want to do it this way where you try it. It's like enchilada sauce. It's like a canned enchilada sauce.
That's crazy.
Which is like I put it on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ortega. Not a lot going on with that now.
And like the other Galactic Hobo sauce, this is a watery sauce.
Mm-hmm. Which I like. I like the thinner sauces too.
It does coat, like, if I put this on a taco, I know that it's going to kind of get in the crevices of...
Ooh, that smells like taco sauce.
Yeah. Like, I thought that smelled like taco sauce growing up, and now I realize it's tomato soup.
I've had it all wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd smash me some tacos with that.
Yeah, like this, I was half tempted to go to Adobe and grab a couple tacos to throw it on.
That would go so good. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going wet burrito with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you all saw that coming.
Yeah,
I like that.
Well, in this one, it's apple cider vinegar, plum tomatoes, water, jalapeno peppers, garlic, lime, sweet onion, carrots, habanero peppers, and then spices, salt, and paprika. So
I might have to take a little to-go bag of that.
That's fine. I got a little travel one for you. No, the taco sauce.
I could eat that whole bottle, no problem.
Yeah, and that was the thing is that's why I'm excited about the Hobo Kai to try that one because he's doing very distinctly different. You know, the OG sauce goes on everything. Taco sauce, it's right in the name. It's going on that Mexican dish. And then the Hobo Kai has that teriyaki, which I'm interested to try that one too, but they have their lanes.
Oh yeah, they're very different.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Might adjust the weekly schedule for meals tomorrow to wet burritos.
Well, and that was the thing that I don't like. We have some sauces that are going to be pushing the limit on if it's hot sauce or if it's just a sauce that's hot.
Yeah.
And it's something where, like the taco sauce, like if we had a line of taco sauces to try, yeah, I'd be down.
Yeah. Like I would like to take that and replace the sauce you put on a burrito with just that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's good.
But
that's
even,
flavorful. So
I think of like a wet burrito that I get normally in it. And the red sauce, it's a variation of like, it's not really a spicy sauce, but it's a red enchilada style sauce.
Not spicy in a heat
Mm-hmm.
way.
Yeah.
Spicy in a Christopher Columbus spice way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you throw that on there, and then if you pull up that bite and then you pour some of this on, so you got the traditional wet burrito, and then you add that flavor into it. That's what I would probably do.
Oh yeah.
I would like. You ever do like with a Chinese egg roll? You cut it down the middle, and then you open up and put this like sweet and sour sauce down the middle.
No.
That's how I.
Guess what I'm going to try.
That's how I do it. And then I cut the slices, and each one is like filled with sweet and sour.
Huh.
I would do that with a wet burrito, which I normally don't do this, but I would just like cut it down the middle lengthwise.
Yeah.
Douse some of that in there. So I got the regular sauce. I got the taco sauce.
Yeah. I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to lay the shell down,
Mm-hmm.
cover it in sauce, throw the meat in, do your wrap, cover it, put more on top.
Yeah, that sounds good too. These are all great options.
Save you the cut and put back together.
Yeah. No, but I mean, Galactic Hobo sauce, definitely go out and try it. It's something where both sauces, outstanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the taco sauce, it has some heat, but it's very minimal. Yeah. So it's not something where like, that would be one that if I had taco sauce just on a table for just the general public of people, it's like, you feel that there's a little bit of something, but it'd be the same as if someone put a little bit too much spice in it.
That's an extended family taco sauce.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so if you stuck around for this one, you know, we keep hitting that mark of never being able to go under an hour. But if you stuck around to the end of this, we do appreciate it. If you have listened to this or listened to previous episodes, please go out there, leave a review, leave some comments, whether it be on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google Podcasts.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday. I'm excited to see the first review on Spotify. There's no reviews on Spotify yet, so if you guys like it, we'll give you a shout out if you're the first one to like it.
Yeah, that would be cool to see.
That's all we have to offer right now.
Yeah, like we'll give you a shout out, and we do have some. We have that extra sauce of Big Spice Bullies that we could do something with.
Oh, we could.
We could do something like that. But,
our first giveaway.
Yeah, so that's potentially out there as a giveaway if you put a review on there, but. But I also want to do a special thanks this week to Sam Souse and Faya. Hold on, Sam Souse.
There it is.
If you stayed around for the end of the episode last week, you got to hear him officially say it. they did their Friday coffee talks on Instagram. They normally do end of every week. And I jumped on there and they did do it literally was like a 90-second, 2-minute promotion for the heat source. So that was really cool. And, great things to say. They actually, like what we do, which is always good to hear. Definitely appreciate them. If you do want to get some sauce from the Galactic Hobo, if you want to get it from them, definitely check out their Instagram. That has updates on where they are. I know they're going to be in some farmers markets this summer, and they said next year is when they're going to try to get back into the swing of getting out to some shows. But just galactichobo.com has all of their product. We'll have a link in the description as well. Thank you again, and follow us on Instagram at the Heat Source Podcast for updates on the memes and the actual sauce and episodes that we do. Memes first.
Those two.
Sauce and episodes second. And then, feel free to reach out if you have any sauces you want us to try that you think we should learn more about, or really anything hot sauce related. We've been following a lot of pepper farmers lately. Yeah. So that'd be something we're going to try to learn about. And then I don't have really a teaser for next week because we're going to kind of figure out what we can get recorded before you leave in 2 weeks. Yeah. So we're going to see. It might be some mini episodes. It might be one of our new sauces we have. But
yep. And then once I get back in June, hopefully the floodgates open and we hit you guys with some change-ups on episodes and stuff. And I think we have some neat things in the works. And we're going to start to do eventually kind of some pepper-specific episodes because, the base of every hot sauce, what makes a hot sauce is peppers. Yeah. So we're going to start to, look at flavor profiles, heat, see how many ghost peppers we can get Matt to eat. It's going to be fun.
I'm hoping for, I'm optimistic on 0.5. My over-under is 0.5. Yeah, definitely some exciting stuff when we get back into the swing of things this summer and we can start getting like a backlog of recording. So we'll definitely be doing that and keeping you posted on Instagram. It won't just be memes. We'll also be telling you what we're trying out that week, or maybe we'll put it to a vote on what pepper we try that week if we're going to do a pepper episode. Yep. So until then, happy birthday, Sean Evans, and everyone have a good week. We will talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Why did you bring down Ortega taco sauce?